not started yet.
Not started yet, mate.
Not started.
That's weird. How about now? Can we hear everyone hear anything now?
Negatory.
It was. I've either gone deaf or you haven't even.
Oh, how about now? There you go. Cool, that was quite a delay.
Yeah, we've got a bit of a delay today.
Everyone hear anything now?
There we go.
There you are.
Right. Because I haven't had anything to drink yet.
Bigger delay
I've either gone deaf or you
today,
haven't.
guys. There you go. Cool, that was quite a delay. Yeah, a bit of a delay today. That's a huge delay.
There we go.
There you are.
Okay.
Wait,
So, Smallsy, welcome, sir.
Hello.
Who's here?
Oh, no,
Okay.
Stuart. It says Stuart on your thing, so we'll call you
Stuart.
Stuart.
That's right.
Oh, and I'll be honest now. Oh, there he's back now. See, that went again. More weird.
Here we
Ooh.
go.
Ooh.
I've got all four of us. We're all on the TV.
We're all on the TV, although
He's playing with his life.
What's that?
God. My sister wants to know if I'm going to wear a kilt or a suit to her bloody goddamn wedding.
kilt or a suit. How about
Yeah.
both? Kilt over the
Yeah,
suit.
both. So,
That's what I've just replied with. How about both?
let's keep this started off. So, it's us three. Obviously, Skambo's working, and tonight we are joined by the glorious Stuart, aka Smallsy.
Hello.
Welcome to the fold. How's everyone's day been? Let's go with that one.
How's everyone's day been?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was drunk until lunchtime from last night.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah, that's pretty much my day. I mean, basically, the kayak master basically started working. Almost finished my ATAP board.
Yep. This is true.
One of them days. Right, you, old Smallsy, how has your day been?
Yeah, not too bad. Had to go around with my sisters. My parents came down, had a barbecue, watched some TV, and then only just got home. So, I'm rushing back.
Winner.
Yeah.
Chicken dinner.
Chicken dinner.
But there was chicken, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So, tonight's subject is completely gone out of my head.
What did I say? Let me read the message quickly. I think we were talking about, wasn't it military?
Military in general, weren't it?
Yeah, but then also it's crossover. Well, I say crossover, ever crossover into Airsoft side. I'm sure we said something. Was it that, Steve?
Did he audio go again?
Oh, I don't know.
He,
I'm sure. No, I can hear it.
Still got audio.
yeah. Okay.
So, all things military then.
Yeah, military. That's it. Discussion about military and training and airsoft and stuff like that.
So let's throw this. Let's start this off. Airsoft and military training combined. Obviously, myself and Steve, we done your level 1 stuff, didn't we?
Yeah. Sorry.
So we did that. That's where we learned the basics and the fundamentals of just getting into a doorway and stacking up in a doorway to entering and clearing your left and your rights. And that was a lot of your ex-military. You've kind of based it on that sort of stuff, and I completely think that training things like that are a massive game changer in airsoft.
Yeah. I mean, it's like dry firing, is it? In a sense, it's the same principle. You're practicing something and you're getting fluent at it. So, if you play a lot of CQB, then understanding it and how to clear will be a benefit to you.
Well, what about you, Smallsy? How do you feel that military training bringing into airsoft? What's your standpoint?
I would say it does.
You're a RAF Reg, weren't you?
What's that?
I said you're a RAF Reg, weren't you? Sorry.
Nah. No.
Yeah, I know.
No, at least he wasn't. At least he wasn't a helicopter mechanic.
Yeah. Grease monkey.
Yeah. As I'm saying, it has its place. I think some people seem to think it makes you invincible, that you don't get hit. It's airsoft, so you're going to get hit. But I just think it gives you more of a situational awareness a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Especially Woodland as well, but especially CQB. You're not putting your muzzle across people. You know your corners. Everyone, if you with a group that have done the same training, you can kind of trust that everyone's looking the right way and acting the right way. You don't have to keep looking back to see what everyone else is doing. That makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense.
Yeah, it has its place.
Yeah, and massively has its place. And I mean, for example, if you are doing Milsims, if everyone knows how to, if you are in a proper harbour, if people know how to act in it and patrol properly, it adds to the more of the experience. The whole point of doing a Milsim.
Yeah.
Oh, I 100% expect us to be setting up snap ambushes before we go into a harbour area, things like that.
Yeah, and you can do that, and that's the thing. That's the whole point of it. Is I've obviously played one of Terry's games, and you said he's usually got 6 twists in it, and therefore having that kind of tactical awareness, so to speak, allows you to be kind of ready for most things that potentially may come up, and how to react to them and react appropriately.
I mean, I think obviously Terry's games is going to be a woodland. There's going to be a lot of patrolling, so I think knowing and understanding even basic patrolling things, basic hand signals and things like that, I think is key for immersion in it, in a Milsim.
Well, I mean,
basically,
Milsim's just like a training exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's all it's like. The best way to describe it is like going, like me and Smallsy used to, you're going to Cope Hill for a week and being in your bivvy bag and you're full on for that whole week there. It's the same thing. So, it works. It's there. It has its place without a doubt. Skirmishes, no. Does it help? It helps now and again if
it might. If you're playing at a CQB site, then the CQB side of training will help to a certain extent.
But then it all depends on who you're playing against. If you've got 20 speed softers all they're doing is running around, freaking skidding across the floor like they're in Call of Duty and shooting, and they're probably pre-firing as well. So they're pre-engaging. And if you watch some of them, they've got a bloody pistol with a drum mag on it. It's got like 3,000 BBs in it. So they're just coming around the corner. So again, it's normal CQB wouldn't work like that.
Yeah.
You'd have to go like guerrilla warfare and bloody be like hiding on top of things and under things to wait for them to come in. And camp like people do in Call of Duty.
Start spraying through walls randomly and start hacking.
Yeah. So, you know, it has its place. There are definitely times where it is mega useful. It's like if you go and play a Sterling game in the trees, like if you've never, you know, most of these guys who go and play have had some sort of training, or they've got a mate that served and he's in, like, and it makes it better for them. It means they can get baselines, they can do things a lot better instead of just being like a normal, never done anything. You'll be learning on the game. So it's the same. It's the same.
Yeah.
You know,
I think it definitely has its place. Definitely.
I'd say even at other, like, you know, I played at Plantation last week, and you see so many players that will just be walking around, weapons just hanging down by their side, even though they're walking towards where they know the other team is. They're just chatting away, got no sound awareness. We had one guy, he'd just been hit. We were trying to sneak around the back of it, just been hit, coming back, and he was just shouting out to us, going, "Oh, I don't know how they found me. I was doing this, I was shooting a pistol," and it was like, "Well, they know we're coming now, then, don't we?" It's just, I think some things will help in those sort of situations. But I prefer to have the weapon shouldered, ready to go. So if anyone does jump out, all you got to do is raise it like a few inches, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
So.
Or
that's been bred into you, though, isn't it? Obviously, being at bootneck, you kind of that's drummed into you, isn't it? That kind of little thing, in it.
Yeah, and it's just the way I like to play. You mean with Airsoft, there's various people play how they want to play. You know, I'm never going to say, "Well, do it like this." So you've got people that will happily just keep running at the other team, getting hit, going back, doing the exact same thing. I prefer to play to not be hit. Not because I'm scared of it, I just don't want to be hit. You know?
Well, that's the definition of being stupid, isn't it? Keep doing something and expecting a different outcome.
Yeah, so I prefer to look at a situation, think, right, okay, this is how I'm going to try and get around the back of them. Nice and slow. Sometimes it will take most of the game to get there, but I don't really mind, to be honest. That's just how I like playing. As long as I can get there and get some people, you know, get the drop on them, I'm happy with that. I don't want to just keep running at people constantly.
Yeah.
Because there's always going to be somebody sat down there, full auto, 300 round mag, just hosing the area. Whereas
definitely. And you watch it, like when I went and played that AP with Scams, like some people will be going into that huge, the ones where you can go upstairs and around and down, like they'll be going in on their own, and there'll be like 3 people in there and they got no chance. Where if 4 of you go in there, yeah, one of you's going to get hit, but potentially you're going to get one of them, and then therefore you can start breaking it down again. So it's you know, it's like that. It's just knowing those little tactics will help you win the battle, so to speak.
Yeah, and it's just like rural sort of training, like woodland and all that. Like, but as you say, a baseline. But like you've been to AP, you know the scrubland. You've got they've changed it now. There's lots of different more dirt mounds now leading up to the mortar pit. So it's just like, I think training there can help. You just have a dedicated group that are going to keep putting fire down, so you can keep pushing up, covering.
Well, and just even that, like, so playing that game and knowing you've got people putting a bit of support fire down to help you move up to get into a better position, or if you're going to outflank them, you have, you know, I'll use the words like Delta team or whatever on the left, just putting fire down while you're sneaking around. It's little things like that will help you win the game.
But I also feel with Airsoft, it's like again, you know, everyone plays the money, same amount of money, you've got different weapons, but I'd say know your weapon and what its role is. So if you've got an LMG, try not to use it like an assault rifle. You got an LMG, find a position and just keep putting the fire down to support your team.
Yeah, it's like what I do with the sniper rifle is like most of the time at AP last week, I was kind of sat back just trying to keep people's heads down. And when someone was getting picked off, I did counter sniper, like I think I got about 5 or 6 of their snipers over the course of the morning, just doing counter sniper, because that's kind of what I prefer to do.
Yeah, but as a good sniper, and you watch some of these Airsoft ones, as a good sniper, if you've got a bit of cover and a good overview of the field and you can take people, you want to be still there and not ever be seen. So you need to be set up in a nice little spot, and you don't want to be seen, because then therefore you can just keep popping off.
I mean, there's a couple of people like last week, for instance, who there was a guy in a full ghillie who was literally kneeling in front of a bright brown dirt mound.
Yeah, I remember.
And he was sniping people, but basically he just didn't have the reach. And I literally just sort of kind of goaded him into shooting me by basically making myself visible, and then basically I could see the BBs dropping, so I could have an idea of how far away he was from me, and then I would just kind of move forward a little bit further, and then I would hit him. It was just like, you know, little things like that, just kind of trying to goad the person into shooting and focusing on you when you know he can't hit you. So that everyone else around him can basically, you know, do their thing. You know, and also it's like the other thing as well is like, you know, sometimes in buildings and small spaces, you know, with a sniper rifle, you can quite often get especially in airsoft, get a cleaner hit into a window than you could with an AEG sometimes, just because it's a little bit more accurate at the range.
The good thing about a sniper as well is even if the other team know you're out there, so just the threat of you being out there makes them think differently. They don't want to pop up as much. So if you can put effective rounds in and around them, it shits them up even more.
Yeah.
Well, like we had Charlie, the para lad, he was there the other day on the dirt mound, just minding his own business. Bit of dirt got kicked up right in front of his face from a sniper. Didn't know where it came from, but he kept our heads down because he didn't know where it was. And he got that close, like literally like that close to him. And that just made us think, no, we're not sticking our heads up.
Yeah, fair one. That makes sense.
Yeah, it has its place out there, that kind of stuff. But,
yeah, same with the support gunner. You know, that's exactly the same, and it's being ready to put like all your 3,000 rounds down.
yeah,
that's me. That's me and you, Smalls, on that bang bus.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it as well, attacking the bus. It's just might not be out hitting them, but if I can just keep hosing left and right, all those top windows, making as much noise as you can, they're not going to stick their heads up, but it allows you to stick quicker.
No, exactly.
you get those BBs going in through the gap and they're bouncing around. People don't know where they're getting hit from. It's kind of, you know, it's a pain in the ass, you know, because you can't take a shot. You can't basically, you know, if for instance, if you a sniper in that bus, you can't sort of take a nice careful shot at someone because you're too worried about being hit. You know, it's very useful basically knowing your role. And if you are in that sort of, you know, suppression role, then you go for it.
Yeah,
I get that.
Yeah,
I mean, you look when we did the bang bus. I mean, when we did the bang bus, you had you Smalls with the mortar on your shoulder, me with an M249, old dickhead in the back giving all the. You had Richie with his LMG. You had Tim with tags. You had Nick with his 416. We put out such a volume of fire. I don't think we took any form of incoming just from the sheer amount of fire going out of that bus.
Yeah.
And again, that's what it should be. If you've got an overwhelming fire support, you should use that correctly.
It's just part of the principle, though, isn't it? You know, Jonesy, the whole, you know, win the firefight, put more rounds down than they're putting down. But it works in airsoft, same principle. Yeah,
but and the same principle has to be accurate as well. Yeah. So if that means, you know, it's all good having a 249 and firing over their heads because they're going to be like, yeah, cheers. It's got to be hitting the cover they're around because then they know it's on them. Like if they move or whatever, you know,
they come forward, they walk into a wall of fire, basically.
Yeah, but it's the same with if you're putting fire down, they're putting fire down, and it's kind of a mix. It's the same as you really don't want to stay in that same position too long because then you're fucked.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to be able to, right, shit, like that's heavy fire. All right, we need to get someone moving so we can then try and bring their concentration of fire somewhere else so then we can try and move forward. So just those little things that you can use that you would in real life.
I'd say another thing as well, it's just, you get it a lot in airsoft, is just target indication. You get so many people just shout out, always by the, sorry, it's got to put battery minutes.
That's all right.
They'll be like, always by the tree. And it's like, I'm in a woodland, what one? So I do like doing the old finger method. I'll see that prominent point, 2 fingers left of that, and people are like, "Oh yeah, got it."
Yeah.
It just helps, and rather than shouting out, "You buy the tree, you buy the whatever."
He's buying a green shake on, and there's like 12.
Yeah. But I just think there's a lot of little basics you can teach in airsoft. It's not. You don't need fully trained Marines running about, because they're not, going to get to that stage, really, are they?
No, and the same with us. Tactics change, so we're just using from what we know and experience from. But again, certain things may have changed these days, and different things.
That's the thing as well. Like, you can learn set tactics, but as you said, things change. So you might be training for one thing, but like how to clear a certain room, you're going to get to one and be like, "Well, this isn't what we trained on." You've got to be tactical.
Yeah.
But I did a night game at Splatoon a few weeks back, and I don't know who the guy I was with. I don't think the military trained, but we had in the kill house. You've got long corridor, and the corridor kind of goes through 3 rooms. So we were just crossing arcs, checking each corner. We're like, right, 1, 2, 3, moving into the next room. I knew I was on the right, so I had his left corner. He had my corner. We just did that constantly. I don't think he's ever done any real training, but I just quickly said to him, "This is what we're going to do." We did it, and it worked.
Yeah. And that's how it should be, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's you only need fundamentals, and then in airsoft you can theoretically create your own training style for what you're going to be doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, that's all it takes. That's only what makes military personnel good, is that training, and then doing it. So for theoretically, the same with airsoft, getting shot back at, you learn certain things and then you crack on and you change it and move it to it.
I also say one of the other things as well is if you are planning on doing more Milsim, is learn comms and how to do it effectively and how to properly.
Yeah.
No, not just chattering away on the radio, using up the net. Actually, just get all the information needed.
Yeah, and have some SOPs as well as a team. If something happens, what would you do? Or if someone goes down in front of you, I say go down, but I think I taught this at the CQB stuff with these lads, that airsoft, everyone does it in any sort of CQB environment. They get shot and they just go, and they stand in front of their whole team in a doorway. Take hit, but do you know what? Take a hit and move in a step and then drop. Yeah. Because if you're in CQB and people moan, like you watch people all the time, I've said it 15 fucking times. Well, you stood in the way and you're in the way of people shooting each other. So you've got 2 options: move out the way quickly, or take a knee and just stay out the way.
Thing is, I like my teeth. As soon as I get hit, I'm out of there.
Yeah, and dependent on what's going on, if your team are all behind you and they're coming behind you, you're going to get in their way. So just take that knee for a second, hand up, duck your head so you don't get shot in the face, and hopefully they move past and you can move away.
This thing, so you're doing this, you're blocking your team moving in or shooting, and now the person in that room to go, "I'm going to move now."
Yeah, exactly. So you're a hindrance, or actually you're a hindrance to your own team more than you are them. But and that's it.
You effectively become a piece of hard cover, effectively, that's helping the enemy, not your.
You know what the most? I'll have to be honest. Now we talk about it. The most annoying thing in CQB is people that throw a grenade and then go, "Oh, I'm just coming in to get my grenade," so they know where you are for coming back. You're like, you now deserve a full face of fucking BBs.
This is why I don't use hard grenades. I use paper grenades. You chuck them and you don't care.
Oh, mate. Do you know what? But then also...
But that's the other thing about grenades, is when you chuck them in, no one goes in. I've done this loads of times at CQB sites where there's been 2 of you at the door. I've thrown a grenade in, run in, let it bang and followed it up. But the guy behind me has just sat there and gone, what's going on?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you throw a grenade in the room and everyone automatically goes, "Well, he's dead." Well,
do you know what I tend to do? If I see broken silos or broken grenades, I throw them in anyway, because people think it's a grenade coming in, and then they all run, and you just go in anyway.
Well, this is the thing about grenades. The whole point of them is that everyone will move, and especially in airsoft, because effectively it's just a bang. So you all move to try and get out of range, and that fraction of a second or whatever. That they're just kind of reorganizing themselves is your opportunity to do something. But so many people just assume it's going to kill everyone in the room.
In real life, if you threw a flashbang in, you wouldn't be waiting for all 6 flashes to go off. On a 6 bang.
Or 2 or 3.
You'd be throwing it in, and as soon as it goes bang, you're in. like instantly. Like as soon as you hear that, you're instantly, because then they're disorientated by it, but you know it's already going off, so you're in there going for it.
Yeah.
You know?
That's why you train and drill on it, because you're
But-
accustomed to it.
Yeah.
And the thing is with airsoft, of course, the bang, you can't follow it up because most of the time the rule is that effectively everybody, including yourself, would be killed by it.
And no, every thing that goes bang is a bang, isn't it? It's a
Yeah.
grenade. So even if you've got a flashbang that'll go 3 times, it's classed as a grenade going off 3 times and not a flashbang.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which is-
Scamps just said hello.
Oh, we have a.
He's bored at work.
He ain't got nothing going on. No one to arrest. I know a great address you can go around and knock on the door.
Yeah, so do I.
But yeah, so there's little things like that, and like for example, so we use it as people find it as a pet peeve, but they hate getting shot more than once in a CQB environment because you're coming in and going, da, 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 you know. But realistically, we all know potentially if you're wearing body armor or helmet, you won't feel the first shot anyway. So you're better putting 3 to 5 rounds down. And we spoke about this the other week. It's the same in kind of real life. You will end up putting more than 1 round in because sometimes 1 round won't put a person down.
Yeah.
So it's the same principle. And then I think people, right? So we're talking about the airsoft side here. I've just got to realise it's like you're saying, Smallsy. Like, yeah, I don't like playing. I play not to get hit. I love sneaking around and slot people. But if I get hit, I get hit. Hand up, I'll go straight back, and I'll go another route. Or what I do is I get so annoyed, I need to get the guy that just got me, and I'm after him. You know what I mean? That sort of action in a fun way. I'm like, that's it. He's my target. I'm the only person I want to get. Sort of. But there's some people be like that. Like they proper get shitty when they get hit.
Yeah.
And you're like, what have you come to play? Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I played a game once up in Catterick, and me and Mike Perrett got this guy, and we got him blankly, and he just went, for whatever reason, he wasn't taking him. And you're like, okay. And then we got even closer, and we'd got him. But he decided to still open up after we got him. And he ripped my ear apart. But he was literally like 2 meters away. And I'm like, dude, like you could see the BBs bouncing off you. You'd said hit and then you still fired. And he went, yeah, well, you should wear a face mask. So you just shot me in the face because I wasn't wearing a face mask, but not because like.
But I mean, was he wearing a face mask? And
No.
like, it's a Milsim.
Do you know what I was more annoyed at was that he did it because he could. Because anyone that plays the game, even if you've got him and he still fires, you still take your hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, okay, I'll be a good egg and still take my hits, even though you're an absolute douche and you just shot me. Because anyone watching won't know what's happened there.
Yeah, no one's going to know the order of fire, basically.
Yeah.
Sometimes I will say, it's quite close to CQB. Someone bursts in, I'll keep firing essentially until they put their hand up. Because I've had so many times where I've put maybe 1 or 2 rounds down. I've known I've hit them because I've seen it, but it hasn't registered with them. And then they hit you, and then they're like, just carry on. So I prefer to actually shoot. I'm not like taking the piss like in the face or anything like that, but centre of mass, keep shooting until raise hand or you hear hit.
Well, do you know what I played with when I played with Nick? I had a guy come in and he goes, "Oh, did I not get you?" Like and that sort of answer. No, mate, because if you did, I mean, you hit the container behind me.
Yeah.
But I felt like going, well, if you're not watching where you're firing, because he just ran into one of the containers like this. Like not looking, but trying not to get hit himself. And you're like, oh, what are you doing? Yeah. You go to the business test as well.
Yeah.
So
about the that night game.
Thank you, gorgeous.
Yeah, Josie.
Yeah.
I did that night game a few weeks back. We were like again, we're inside the kill house, stacking up on a room. I was front man, so I had the weapon up, facing the door. Somebody, don't know who, it might have been Robson or something. He just like gave us shoulder and squeeze. Immediately was like, all right, okay. So I just moved straight in. He followed me straight up. Didn't even think about it. As soon as I got the squeeze in, I knew.
And that's what I was teaching these boys when they came.
Yeah.
Like,
So
things
he got
like that.
the drills, so I knew that he's going to come in with me.
Yeah.
I didn't have a clue in that room got lit up, but still.
Yeah, but the thing is, you were like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
You know.
It's worse in like people that hesitate. I know scary BBs in the face, but if you're gonna do CQB, you've got to be able to commit to it.
I lost a part of that tooth because of BBs to the face.
Yeah, I've had a few go in the mouth, but not any teeth.
But do you know what it is? There's a difference in the sense of, everyone says don't shoot each other in the face, but if that's all you're going to put, I think I spoke about this last week. If that's all you're going to put around, that's what you're going to get shot at.
This is it. I know if I'm going to peek around that corner, chances are I'm going to get one in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's the only bit visible, you're going to get the face is going to get hit.
I just get hesitant. If I see someone peeking, I'm a bit like, I don't really want to shoot. So like, if I'm close enough, sometimes I'll be like, if the muzzle was more or less in the face, I'll be like, up to you.
But then at the same time, you do see some guys who blatantly, you can see, when the streamer BBs are only going one way and you're stood up properly and they're coming like that, that bloke is aiming at your grip.
Yeah. And CQB is rather than peek at the height expected, I'll just drop to a knee and have a little peek.
Yeah, it's like at AP the other day. Basically, when we were in that little hut, when we were defending the village, I was literally kneeling all the time, and they weren't expecting me at that level.
Yeah.
So they were literally shooting over my head almost all the time, and I was literally just peeking, and they'd be shooting, and that just no one quite really sort of pays attention to are you on the ground or not.
Yeah. Exactly.
But also if you're going to peek in CQB, peek with your rifle. So so there's a certain tactic now that a lot of CQB guys are using where the rifle will be high, but they've still got eyes on. So like the butt will be here.
Yeah.
And they're like that because when they're peeking like this, going like that, it's with them, and they've still got a cheek well, but it's just at a different angle. Yeah. But when I do it, if I know someone's there, I know in my head if I'm peeking, I'm putting rounds down, and then I'm coming back out. I'm like bah, and then you'll get people go, oh, I definitely hit you. Well, why? Because you saw me, or because you hit me. You saw me. People be thinking again. This is that principle of being accurate, even though it's only accurate to a certain amount of meters. Let's be all honest. We all know up to a set sort of amount of meters, we know we're going to hit a human-sized body.
Yeah,
and that's the same principle with BB.
Battleborn just put if the head's first thing popping out, it's going to get slotted. Well, I'll be horrible. If you do it more than twice, I'm going to go for you.
Chance.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be quick though as well.
I'd say in Airsoft, if you're serious about shooting right, practice. Obviously, in a safe environment, but practice snap shooting. Get behind a bit of cover. If there's a group here, have someone just put a target somewhere. You pop around the corner, quickly snap 2 or 3 rounds down, back in the cover. Just practice that, and then get your mate to keep moving the target. So you're trying to.
You got a big idea.
And the other thing is, if you're doing that as well, have the person shoot at you as well, just so that you can basically kind of get used to the whole idea of
I did this for them
under fire.
Where
I was just about to say that you did that on ours.
What I did though was instead of this is what I wanted to get them out of, so the flow would be right on the airsoft side. Is if you got hit by the guy shooting at you, just go down, but the rest of the team carry on.
Yeah.
And then you just jump back into the rear and do it again. Jump back in it, and what you're doing is you're kind of. And then same with the bad guy. Don't worry about if you hit him. He'll go hit. So you know he's dead. But then as soon as he says hit, he's off and he's moved into a new position. And at Strike Force, it was so big that you could do that. He could change, go quickly, crawl down, go around somewhere else, and pop up, and you'd be like, "Oh shit, where's he come from?"
So you did that with us. So obviously we had, I think his name was Phil or something. He would walk around with a pistol. I had Jono behind me. We'd walk down the right side. He'd be shooting beef, the next thing he's in front of me, and I've hit him, and then he suddenly appeared, someone's hit me, and I've just spun behind Jono, and then Jono's gone forward.
And another thing, we did this. You weren't there on that one. We did one on, again, we're always trying to evaluate what we've done, and then trying to add something more to it, so you feel like you're getting more out of the day. And these guys were lucky to have the dogs there all day, but then actually. We took that element out because it was just too much for the dogs. The dogs just could hear the noise and wanted to go like all day long, which isn't good when they don't get to work in that environment, for any dog. So we did a bit of shooting, moving, and it went far. It was like 6 meters, 4 targets up, but it was just like tap, 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 tap. But you had to move across and then move back across and just tap, 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 tap. And even some of the guys, like one of them, you could see it felt awkward to kind of move and shoot and move like they were like mega robotic. And you're like, you know, even just getting that kind of comfort of going, okay. And it's not something we did a lot in the Marines. I mean, not what the Americans did was shoot and move. And I mean like proper like targets up, moving forward, tap, tap, up, tap, tap, up, and moving. You didn't do a lot of it. And it wasn't until probably now for me to experience it properly, it wasn't until we had 2IC that was USMC. And that was for Herrick 7, where he brought that in on the Rangers in Denmark. And we were doing it. We were proper shooting and moving, you know.
I don't think before we did
No, and mate, and the thing is don't forget, for anyone who's watching, the Corps do a lot of CQB in the sense of we train it from training. Every time you go anywhere, most of our exercises are always in built-up areas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's very rarely that we do just woodland on its own. I mean, from what I remember, all the exercises we did, we hardly ever not just do a pure woodland scenario, except from jungle.
Yeah.
And that's the only time you properly did it. You might do it a little bit in the sense of you do like, you know, the old, remember the old CQB lane?
Yeah.
It'd be called. Like something like that live. So you'd be going down like old riverbeds and they'd pop up targets. Other than that, everything we did was always built up areas, coming out of built up areas, or now and again it would be like, okay, there's a bunker, but again that's very rare. But that would be more of a commando assault role where, you know, fire support would go up onto the hill, start putting rounds down, you come off the beach, and then you go up onto the assault, but then you withdraw straight away.
Because for my Herrick, we did quite a lot of strike ops, air assaults, that kind of thing. So we knew we were going to be working in and around built up areas.
Yeah, you were flying out of CAF, weren't you?
Well, we went from we did operations Kandahar, Uruzgan, and Helmand province. So every now and again we'd nip over the Bastion, do some ops out there.
Yeah, that's if you were flying out of there, but most of because you were right next to the runway, weren't you? Around the
Camp Roberts.
Yeah.
But,
across from was it across from the Belgium or the French? You had.
No.
What year was that?
That was 2008, 2009.
Yeah, because I was out there 2009 with you know who.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it was the Belgian pilots or whatever was across, or the French were across from you, because you had the Yanks next to you, because you weren't far from our pad.
Yeah, to get to the galley, we have to walk past the actual physical terminal from Canada.
Yeah, where everyone gets a picture of outside. Yeah,
I just saw a picture up down on Instagram of a Navy SEAL in front of that.
Yes, yeah, I've seen that as well. Where you used to drive across it, and then like an Afghan plane would come in with a load of Afghans coming up.
Yeah.
But yes, I know exactly where you were. Yeah, because you guys were doing in a
fuel station as well. So if any rocket came next to that, the whole camp would go up.
I'm sure that's the year the Harrier crashed as well. There,
possibly. Yeah,
that might have been just as you left. Because Alex. We joined, and I think you had 2 months left of your tour when I came out.
When did you go out?
Right. Do you know what? I'm sure it was May 2009.
I know. We came home in April.
So I must have gone out before then. Must have been March 2009.
Yeah, well, still, they were probably out in far South Helmand at that point.
See, at that time, we were still flying into CAF. Did you fly out of CAF?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know you guys were there, because I remember speaking to some of the lads I knew at 4-2.
Mm.
Anyway, I digress. Sorry, Alex. Go on.
So you talked about that it's a random fact. You know that Harrier that sort of hit the deck and sort of blew up that skid?
Yeah.
It turns out he's the team leader for the Red Arrows.
Do you know what? You talk about that. Carla's great uncle's 2 boys. They were both pilots, and one of them I think is still a Red Arrow pilot and was a Red Arrow pilot. And he was the Spitfire pilot during the war. And he actually got a DFC in the war to World War II. So Carla's got a bit of heroic blood in her.
Fighter blood, as you were.
Blood.
Oh, she definitely got some sort of fighter blood in her. Bloody hell, I don't know where I'm at.
Because she goes to the shop and gets you beer.
You're watching this live stream now, you're going to get slapped.
Oh, mate, she can hear it. She'll come in and just slap me later. It'll be all right.
Just want to charge.
Yeah. Well, I digressed. Sorry. I see.
But so yeah, obviously, military experience, military tactics in the airsoft. Yes, they do work. Is it worth learning? The very, very basics. Yes.
Yeah, and again, you've got yes, if you're going to be running and gunning, so to speak, as a team and be doing Milsim events or doing events that last 24 hours, therefore it allows you to move better and work better together. And that's the issue with some teams is they don't have someone that has a bit of experience in somewhere, and one will go, oh, I know this, I know what I'm doing, and you'll get a new member on, and they'll be like, well, wait a minute, you know.
A lot of the time in a team, you might get somebody that's learnt it from somebody that's learnt it from somebody that was in, and it just changes a little bit, dilutes it slightly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely something worth having. It doesn't mean that like my experience or Smallsy or Nick's or Tricky that's coming to play us, that we're the know-it-alls and we know exactly what we're doing. I think that's the biggest. I think I've said it before on some of my stuff. I hate the word expert. There is no such thing. Yeah, and it is, and some of it is in date. Like so, CQB. I mean, obviously, what we taught you is in date, and that's because who I brought in. So that's not an issue, and I'm learning as well. But some of it I already know. So like when I go with the CQB, I'm not like the prime instructor for the group I take. A mate of mine is. All I'm doing is, like I was explaining to these guys, is I'll take an airsoft scenario because he doesn't know about airsoft, and I'll translate it into that. So it's like, as you know, you're not going to go in a game of CQB and poke someone in the eye.
No.
You know, you're not going to do it. But potentially, like in one of Terry's games, he might set up one of the bad guys with an IED vest, and you've got to cut it off when you move them. And so just learning that, okay? You know, you could potentially bring in a Milsim game, you've got to fireman's carry people out, so you could potentially show someone how to get someone off the ground. There's those little things that you can bring in that will make a game a little bit better.
There are some Milsim games I've seen that do incorporate the amputees, and they make all the realistic, like we've had before. They do all that. I know when I was part of Tier 1, we used to do similar, and we actually had genuine Afghans. I can't remember the name of the company now, but real Afghans playing the Civ Pop. So speaking Afghan, they were running the marketplace. This was at Stanta when that was started. And it was so we had like Shurers on the go.
But then you had the great thing about that, because you were Tier 1, weren't you? So you had like Ed, Tricky, Dan. You have a wealth. A wealth of, like all you guys have a wealth of knowledge. So it's not a case of, you know, when people go, oh, we've got 60 years worth of knowledge. Well, for example, like when we do the training, you know, having Phil there and having Phil, I think you've met Phil, my mate Phil, ex-Bootneck LC.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. You know, you got Phil, you had Phil, me, and my friends. There was like 40 odd years worth of experience there and potentially actually a few different decades as well. So therefore, you have a lot to kind of pull in as a pool and go, okay, this is this. And it's the same with this. Like, you know, it's the way you guys play Milsims and stuff. You know, again, you know, Smalls, we both know Nick's a sprog, if he's watching. But I'll put in this late. But he can come straight out and go, well, I've done this, and this in this environment out of Vikings and stuff. I know we've all done it, but he's probably done a lot more. You know,
well, he's done Norway jungle. I haven't done that.
So I haven't. Well, I've been to Norway. I haven't done a Norway.
Not real boon.
But I know we're not real good. But that again, that's it. I've
done Sweden. That counts.
Exactly. I've done. Here we go. Skambo's just put way. He knows I love him. So again, I mean, don't get me wrong. I've been to Norway in the winter. I've done ice breaking, but I've not done it military wise. I understand the difference, but I've done 2 jungles. And I was saying, I think it was on my thing. The jungle is theoretically a bit like Norway in the sense that you have to do your basics right.
It's 2 different extremes, isn't it? It's fieldcraft. That's when fieldcraft needs to be spot on. Yeah.
So it's having that. It sounds silly, but that basic military training of up to a certain level that you know that you're squared away. So jungle and Norway are the same to me in the sense of. So there are obviously different principles to each. Okay. But like in the jungle, what's the biggest thing you're going to have to do in the jungle is keep hydrated. You're sweating. Actually, theoretically, it's the same in the cold because if you're moving all the time.
Yeah, but you're not thirsty, are you usually?
So there's those little things. Like, how do you keep your kit? Okay, how have you built your Quincy? All right, are you sleeping off all those, like, the candle inside the Quincy? What is it there for? Well, One thing to elevate a bit of heat inside. Second, if it goes out, it means oxygen's going out of the quincy, which means you could be suffocating. So it's little things like that. Exactly. So, you know, we've all done stuff. It doesn't matter if, like, I mean, what did Nick do? 2 years or something? He's going to kill me. No, he did 7 years, didn't he, Nick?
Can't remember now. I think so. Something like that.
Scams, you do 7 years? No, but, you know, we all did something different. So we all bring that, you know, in together.
Yeah, I didn't do jungle in Norway, but in Afghan as well, we did a whole month on the ground, living rough. So even admin then had to be good, like foot admin. Mate,
it had to be. I remember going. I remember I had the shits and I had to go for a poo, but I had to go. We had to go out. We had to go outside of the compound we're in. Oh mate! So I've got a guy with a 338 above my head while I'm squatting behind this little hill trying to go for a poo, and I'm like, it's everywhere while they got someone in sight.
Yeah.
But yeah, 7 years. So, you know, all those it's taken from everybody, you know, and this is why I hate the word SME, you know, subject matter expert, because you're never an expert. No, because even if you've done a Norway, and it's not being mean. I remember an old boy going, I've done 8 Norways. And you're 80. Well, yes, you did 8 Norways 60 years ago. You know, we have changed. Everything has changed. But what actually you can take away from that is you can take his experience away. It doesn't mean you're an Arctic warfare expert, because things change, equipment changes. It's the same with the airsoft, like, you know, and the drones and everything you can do, Steve. I know nothing about like the ACTAC boards or how to do a drone and how to use all that sort of stuff. Mate, you could probably put an MP5 on a drone and use it and fire it at someone like a bloody gunship.
Kind of have.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, stop. Let's stop.
See, do you know what I mean? So
actually, technically, it's a P90, but it's on a drone.
Okay, so are we taking it next week?
No, it's fucking huge. It's literally fucking huge.
Like, this thing makes, like, I'd say it's at least 4 foot in diameter the whole way around.
Yeah,
it's basically 6 rotors. It can lift literally like 4 kilos in weight.
Okay, so we need it.
But I mean, basically, we tested it in October at Bush Valley, and it flew. It was okay. But the problem we have, and the reason why we won't be running a drone this time, is basically we're out in the field and we've got no space to land it.
Yeah.
I have a fixed wing drone that can basically stay in the air for 90 minutes. The problem is, like at Bush Valley, you need a landing strip, and we don't have it.
Yeah.
We can put it up in the air. You can hand launch it, but basically to land the thing, you need space.
Yeah.
There's technology is an interesting thing for airsoft and for military use. That you've got so many different things, but they all need certain environmental conditions for them to work well.
But they also need a certain amount of knowledge and experience on them. So I wouldn't even attempt to do it, and that's where, like, we talk about training and we talk about does military training come into it? Yeah, but it's your understanding of all that is great compared to ours. And that is the military, but theoretically, I'm talking about the same principles. Is your knowledge on it is what you would bring to a team, and everything else, and the way you like to snipe. It's the same for everyone. If you're making a team, let's be honest, you want people that have done different things here and there, but that's what makes a team good.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. Alex, what have you got there?
Hold on a second.
Just a nice patch.
Well, you need to get. Have you got the other set made yet? Then.
What? No, he gets his.
No. F5W.
Oh, I haven't got it made yet because he hasn't said yes.
We know he said yes.
I mean, basically, what you kind of.
He has to answer now.
Upside down, mate.
He's going to miss out a patch otherwise, and I know this person can't not go without a patch.
There you go, Smallsy.
Well,
yeah.
This is what you want.
This is what you want.
I told you can't board me. You know this.
What a bet. What a bet.
I'll take
What a
monthly
bet.
payments.
Smallsy, I'll send you a picture.
Yeah, Jonesy.
How did you like it?
Worked beautifully.
So, can I ask a question? Because I'm not actually a fan of the stocks. Are you going to keep the stock, or are you thinking about putting it, a proper like 6-position one?
Don't know what it is, to be honest. I don't know if I can do technical gun shit.
No, because I played with Nix, and I found it really weird.
Got that. It's a little bit creaky,
but you can buy the mounts for these, so you can put on like an M4 stock.
all right. No, I'll probably keep it like that for a bit.
Smallsy, let's be realistic. That's not a gun. This is a gun.
Yeah. Doesn't
What
work.
do you mean?
If you say yes.
Hold on. You mean this gun?
Yeah, see, you need a fingerbob stock on that as well, Steve.
I know it needs a power stock on it. But,
No, yeah.
It's a beast, and it weighs a ton.
Do you love this though, Jonesy?
I don't give a shit. I'm putting it. I don't care.
Let's see.
I'm
Got a little D-bell.
gonna be.
Oh yeah. I might have to get one of those. But have you seen that guy on Instagram? SOCOM or something like that he's called.
You mean the D-bell that I have on here?
No. Have you seen him, Steve?
Which one?
Guy called Somo Gear.
Okay, why does the name film?
Why does that
Name
sound mega
familiar.
familiar? Yeah.
He makes all his own like laser brands and stuff and all that sort of stuff. Like he
And the
makes his
answer to your
own.
question- And the answer to your question, Nick, is all the toys. Are you bringing it to SEO? Yes, we are. We are.
That one there, look. Like that.
Oh,
And he makes his own ones. Like, so I seen another one the other day. Look, like this one's like real, like mil spec IR, but small. And
yeah.
they're quite affordable. And he's done like copy 21s.
You have to punt over the name because I'll check
So
them out.
obviously, Smallsy is part of it, so you need to get Smallsy made one.
What's up?
You know. All right, so I've got to wear a kilt for my sister's birthday.
Nothing
So-
else. Can't wear
No.
nothing underneath.
So Smallsy.
So basically, I need to get one of these, but with a 5, not a 4, right?
Probably number one.
No, unfortunately, I'm number 1.
But there's no rules in this one, okay?
Okay, good.
Yeah, there's no uniform rules. You can
There's
wear
only
what the
one
fuck you
rule.
like within reason.
No.
One
And
rule, if you haven't got a beard, you're not in it. Beards are for men.
no, and also it doesn't matter what games you turn up to.
Okay.
No. Or what you wear.
Exactly. This is about playing with friends and having fun. No,
Basically, as long as you follow the rules of the event, we're good.
well, yeah. But so no, my sister's getting married up in Scotland and to a jock, unfortunately. And well, my mum is my mum is a jock, unfortunately. But my sister wants me to wear a kilt. Well, guess what, Smallsy?
Go on.
They do the Royal Marines tartan in a kilt.
All right.
So if I'm at least going to wear a kilt, I'm going to wear Royal Marines colours.
Yeah.
You have to wear nothing else under the kilt, mate.
Mate,
Nothing
I don't-
else.
I want you to have
Alex,
commander dagger shoved into the socks if you wear them. You know the big socks they wear?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just put my commando dagger down it. Alex, I don't wear anything underneath anyway, so we're all right.
Exactly. Hey. Can be joined. Fuck no. Battleborn, like fuck Kennedy.
There was
Never heard of her.
No, I mean, we do have some standards. You know,
2 sec. No, babe, they
Right.
do a Royal Marines colour tartan now. It's official tartan, so I need to get that if I'm going to wear a kilt. Right, so Steve, we've got to work out how we make the adjustable. I'll send you what it looks like. The adjustable mount for these that you can put a red dot on. So all you do is you bring it up, and then you can look straight, but you're already at an angle. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I've got the what do you call it somewhere. Hold on.
Right, let me find it. What's it? That's an
Paulsy's
M203.
right.
That's an M203, or is it an M302?
It's a 203.
302.
203 site.
203A1. 230. Yeah. 320A1. So you got the what do you call
Yeah,
it?
I've got that
By
one.
the sounds of it.
Yeah, he is,
So
mate.
that goes
Right, here we go. That's
there.
it there. Look.
Oh yeah, I've seen
With
that.
a red dot.
Yeah, but you can put a red dot on it.
Oh, neat.
I'll find it. I've seen it. That's what. Here we go. So look.
Oh, that is kind of cool.
So I reckon we can make that, and then we've got a red dot going.
In answer to Nick's question, right, of how we need to work out how we're gonna carry all this in. We're gonna fucking wheelbarrow, mate. I'm gonna bring a wheelbarrow from work.
No, we're yomping it in like real men.
So basically what we're doing is we're packing up the 2 Royal Marines full of gear and
There's
following
three.
them.
There's three.
Three. Okay, 3 of them. In that case, we can carry more gear.
There would be 4, but he can't turn up. Actually,
I know.
Smallsy, there would have been 5.
Oh yeah.
Because Dan would have come as well.
He doesn't go to games.
No, he was going to come. I convinced him.
He shows up, hangs around for the safety brief, and goes home.
No.
Sandpit.
No, so mate, we were talking the other day about this, and he's like, oh, freaking airsofters. It's like, Dan, if you weren't working, would you come? If I told him who's coming, and he was like, probably yeah. I went, mate, I was like, there you go then. I was like, what are you giving me shit for? I was like, you would be there and you'd be playing with us.
They did it at Sandpit. He showed up. We're like, safety brief is going on. Like, you gonna get ready? It's like, yeah, we will. Yeah, we're about to go out, and we're like, get ready? Yeah.
So
go out there. Yeah, go ways. And then it got to like midnight, and we were sat on a hill overlooking blue water, and we just sat there in silence. And one of us just went, "He ain't coming back."
no. Do you know the funny thing? I'm like, so as you get, I'm quite abrupt in the way I am and the way I do things. But Dan's like I'm like a sledgehammer. Dad is like a hooligan bar. Like he don't care. But
my kind of guy.
Dude, I mean, he don't care. He don't give a shit. And but it'd be hoofing to have play with us. There'd be a laugh. But we're gonna do that private game, so he'll be there for that one.
The what game, sorry?
I'm gonna set up a private game up north.
Okay.
So people, if you're watching, they already might know. But I've said it before. But obviously, COVID kicked off. So we've got access to a place up north in Hull. That's right. I'm gonna have to get the numbers right. I think it's 60k and 40 buildings.
Nice.
So 60 acres on 40 buildings.
We're hey then. I was like,
it's an old RAF base.
Okay.
Oh, is that, does it have a runway?
I think it. I don't know too much. I've got to go and do a recce up there and stuff. But
Peace out, Nick.
But to see you there, brother. But you know, I'm obviously going to get everybody involved, but it's going to be pretty epic, and it'll probably end up being for a charity, because one of the guys we're doing it with, you know, is a survivor of cancer, and he's been trying to get one sorted to help out. But obviously, again, everything that's happened, it's just gone Pete Tong. So
yeah,
so we're going to try and do that, but it'll be a good game, and it's going to be a private invite, so we'll invite the right people, if that makes sense, to make the game. You know, it's like inviting people that are happy to play Op 4. But the thing is, it sounds silly, but I want Op 4 to play a certain way as well. Right. And like I said this before, that there'll be Pacific mission sets. Like I've already spoke to Steve about this. It's going to be literally Friday to Sunday, so you're going to have take the Friday off. It's going to be a proper long weekend, and for one team, they'll be immersed like 6 hours before everybody else, because they've got a specific job role they've got to do to allow the game to flow. And the plan is it sounds silly, is to have certain, you know, a bit like what do you call it, when you power think, the old bubbles and stuff. I can't think of the word now.
Mind mapping.
Yeah, like that. But the plan is to do that. So then, if something happens, it takes the whole gameplay in a completely different role to how it was meant to go, if it was to go a certain way.
Yeah.
But it's at the same time, it's not being you've got to try and make it fluid.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's not so rigid in the sense that, you know, bad guy 1 will turn up to location A at 1500. It's, you know, that sort of attitude.
Yeah.
Oh, what's this? Yes. Sorry, someone just asked me about buying stuff. So go on, someone start talking for a sec.
I'm just trying to get my phone on charge. Got 3% and a very shit charger.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like, you've got so many different things you can use in airsoft. For like, if you've got a Milsim and you've got a good site that allows you to use a lot of different tech, essentially, you've got your usual guns and shit. It's kind of one of the reasons why we like Terry's stuff. Is he lets us try and use, you know, we used drones on 2 ops last year, and the first one we were kind of, you know, almost feeling it out.
Yeah.
But on the second one, because the drone I've got is it's actually, well, the main drone we used actually was essentially designed for search and rescue. So it's got, in fact, I've got it here.
What?
Basically, it's got
IR.
No, this is the navigation beacon.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it can fly at night.
Hey, the thing comes with a fucking speaker.
Yeah, it's got tons of shit that it can do. It's even got spotlight. But the thing about so we flew it at night, and basically with the navigation light on, which you kind of have to do, it's a very bright flash, and it can be seen for 3 miles basically.
Yeah.
But in an airsoft environment, this is really annoying for people with fucking nods, because it's a bright flash. It just whites out their nods every time it goes off. So we were using this in October in a really effective manner to just sort of, you know, we were pushing out of the barn and they were trying to attack us, and they had some nod users, and we were using this overhead, and it was, you know, it would flash and it would literally white out their nods. We ran it all throughout the night as well, basically just overflying them just to basically keep them on their toes. You know, they don't know if even it was just doing a pre-programmed route overhead and just goes over, and you know, we know where they are, so we just keep circling. They don't know what's happening. It's a great little bit of sort of, you know, not tech, but like immersion element, just to kind of make it a bit different. And like, so when we've got a place we can use the fixed wing drone, that will basically fly for a long period, and it has 2 cameras on it. And the idea is that basically that will stream video down to people in the field.
Have you seen this, Steve? Have you got a laser pointer so we can have an airstrike for that drone? Have you thought about how you could drop a tag from that?
Yes.
So we don't got tags.
We tried it at the JTAC event.
Yeah, so we had a way to do it with this at the JTAC event. However, I do have a drone which has a dedicated drop system. And basically I have, so dropping shit from drones is kind of dangerous. So one of the things we did, and
as a bad guy know about it.
I don't know if I've got any handy, but one of the things I did was I took some smokes. So because we did AP, and AP had this thing about yellow smoke is gas. So modded some yellow smoke so they could be electrically initiated. And the idea was the drone would drop those, and it has a little unit attached to it, which basically would trigger the smoke when it hit the ground. So stuff like that, and have like little drop systems. I've got a couple of new ones since the JTAC event we did last year.
Here's one for you. It's something we got to work out. Obviously, those mortars that tags are doing, as in the actual mortar barrel itself, I'm assuming all that is a system to fire their tag rounds off, or is it the actual mortars?
So I don't know what. So because they ain't showing any detailed pictures, right?
No.
So
and it'd be interesting to see.
I don't know how they're propelled. So if we look at the TLS FX ones, the ones that we've used already, They are basically they're a two-stage kind of explosive device. They have an explosion which pushes it out of the tube, and then it has a little fuse which then lights a second charge in the rest of the thing.
Yeah.
And
no, they are. No, look, there you go. They are proper mortar rounds.
Yeah,
No,
so
yeah.
They've got stabilising fins because they're meant to be illegal, aren't they?
pardon?
Well, so is anything that's got a rifling in it, mate.
Yeah, yes.
So the way that Tag got around the rifling on stuff is they put the rifling in the launching tube, not in the actual launcher.
Mate, that looks like. Look at that. Looks a mine packable. Look at that one there.
Yeah, I mean, it looks fucking intense, and
I mean,
it'd be interesting if we can get it here.
I mean, there's no. So do you know what?
If we have one, Smallsy can carry it and use it.
No. There's no reason why you couldn't have that here. Okay. But again, like we're talking about this event I was talking about, that's something that you're talking like it wouldn't be a cheap event because you'd be going to turn around and going, well, we're going to have indirect fire. So you're paying 100. I'm obviously this is not real numbers, guys. So let me just let you know, 150 quid. But that's going to buy for you to be able to call in like a mortar strike on a certain location at a certain time, and you can and what you'll do is you can make a team be dedicated to that, and they're going to get to do that. So it'll be like like all that bullshit, have it going down, dropping in. It's the same if you get your Mark 18 going, mate, with the like you'll be like, now we're going to get fire support in with that, and lads are going to be on a hill with it sat down on a tripod and just like shit like that, stuff that just makes it I mean, literally amazing.
With the TLSFX mortar that we've got, it's
hit and miss.
It's hit and miss. We know basically they're designed to basically fire, and if you fire them at the right angle, they should go about 100 meters. There's no dialing them in. That tag launcher looks like you can properly dial it in to target.
Yeah, I mean, it looks great. It does look great, and we know it's far from being UK safe at the moment. Because I look at that now and looks like that could fire a real mortar. Which probably wouldn't be allowed.
But bear in mind,
Nick will find a shoulder mount in that thing. Don't worry. Tag are Russians, and they're the guys that take tanks to their Milsim. So
this is why I spoke to Dan Smallsy. Dan's getting his helicopter license.
Oh God.
Oh mate, look, but he has access. He does have access to helicopters.
If you get Nick, that'd be great.
Well, I think we've spoke about bringing one in because he
might. I've thought about this as well.
So he actually might have his license. He might have his license by then as well. Well, we know people as well. Well, I was like to him, get a small bird. He's like, what? I mean, buy yourself a small bird, Dan. You know you want to.
Steve, buy yourself a Mark 46. Go on. What happens? A couple of days later, bought a Mark 46.
Well, it's like that Mark 18.
To be fair, the Mark 46 was always going to get bought. I didn't need encouragement from you.
No. So that picture of the
Scar?
No, the gas blowback kit, the GBB kit. Nick put on the chat and tagged Stephen, I'm not looking. I sent Steve the message privately afterwards, and he went, "You can't."
You mean this one I've just sent now?
Probably.
Yes, that one. But we worked it out. To be fair, though, there is a limit to how much I'll pay for an airsoft gun, and I worked it out. It probably cost me about 2.5k to do that properly, because I'm gonna have to buy another gun. Then, of course, you've got to buy the kit, which is another 1,500 quid, and then you've got, because it's imported from China, you're going to have shipping's like, I think it was like $200 for shipping, and then you've got to pay tax and import duty and VAT on that.
It drives me insane how expensive things are. Like, surely someone in the UK can bloody start making these themselves, and all you got to do is put internals in.
I don't know. I think it's probably getting the receivers. I think that's the issue.
And the thing is, I don't mind paying for quality kit. Yeah, but surely someone can make those receivers in the UK for airsoft.
So the thing is, there's two companies that I know of that actually do those kits, right? So there's HAO, which is the one you just sent me.
Yeah.
There was another guy who's doing it. And the other people, not HAO, but the other people were actually taking a proper 416 receiver and milling it out so it would fit.
Yeah.
And you can't do that. You can't basically buy a 416 receiver in the UK unless you like jump through some hoops.
Yeah, no, but what I mean, surely like if you have I don't know what access CNC you would need for that. I don't know if you did a 5 access or a 3 would do it. But surely we can take a block of aluminum and we can create our own receivers and do that. You know, because per mic,
I'm pretty sure because this is the thing is I'm pretty sure the receivers are pretty much restricted anyway.
Well, see, so this is what I'm trying to work out because Mike Perrott made the suppressors, the first like UKSF type ones. They were all machined. You know, so
right.
Surely we must be all in the UK as well. They were machined in the UK. So, because like you can own a real magazine to any weapon, it's not illegal to own like a Glock mag or a P mag or an AK mag. That's not illegal to own.
But it is illegal to own a receiver.
Yes, but that's for a real weapon and not an airsoft weapon that has gas working parts or an AEG in it. That's where I would find out.
But I think the hardest thing would be if you're going to make your own is convincing essentially the police officers involved that you are making airsoft receivers and not making a real 416 receiver.
But then what you do is you make it so if you were to put real things in it, it'd blow up. Does that make sense? You build that into the design that you, if you were to, like I told you, it's like taking an M203 and trying to put a real 40 mic in it. Like you might as well say goodbye to yourself.
Well, yeah, I mean these are that's a plastic polymer tube. I mean, yeah.
So there's no reason why you couldn't. I mean, this is something that I would ask you in the 3D world. Can you make a plastic? Is there a plastic out there that is so strong that it's just like a metal receiver that you could do that for yourself to then put a TM kit in it?
I mean, you could 3D. To be fair, you can 3D print in steel. You can 3D print in metal.
I know you can print in titanium.
So I mean, basically, this rail that's on the MP5 that I had 3D printed. One of the options I could have had it done is I could have had it 3D printed in steel if I wanted to.
By the way, if I do buy that MP5 off you, I'll need one of those printed.
And you have to make sure it fits actually, because this one was specifically for this gun. But yeah.
Anyway, so let's get kind of back to the military side of it. Trying to think what we've talked about tactics from a military perspective. Anyone else got anything they can think of that's kind of airsoft / military that weapon handling?
Weapon handling is like universal though, isn't it, to be honest?
Yes.
This is my safety.
But that's exactly what he just fucking said. You know what I mean? There are people.
Smallsy's pet hate. Smallsy catches me out every time. Every time I post a picture, he's there.
That's what I'm about to say. You say it's universal, but how many people put their hand on that freaking trigger all the time?
Oh, a lot. But that's because they've never actually been taught weapon safety.
So actually, from the side of the isn't that something we should, as a community, ensure? Because even non-military, like as a civilian shooter, you need to be taught weapon safety. If you want to become a member of any gun club here in the UK, you have to go through their weapon safety stuff. Even in the US, they have their weapon safety stuff for any shooting range and everything else, and it is fairly the same for everybody. Yeah.
I've
definitely seen some absolute terrible things from people.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think I was having a conversation with someone the other day who literally basically said he shot himself in the face with his own fucking gun. I can't remember. I'm not going to say his name because that would just be really mean.
So,
Alex, what, Alex?
No, I'm not.
Well,
I mean,
okay.
because the thing is, the guy's actually quite a nice guy, and I don't want to embarrass him. If it was Beefy, on the other hand, I would definitely say, but it wasn't him, unfortunately.
But no, so on a real thing, that's actually that is generally a thing, isn't it? People are idiots.
Thing is, you've got to remember as well, Airsoft, yeah, you shoot BBs at each other, but you can still do a lot of damage.
Well, yeah,
we had this conversation.
You will lose an eye.
We had this conversation, I think, the other week. Basically, it's about, like BB weights and everything else. And like, a sniper BB traveling at 500 FPS will break the skin at close range. But the same, a 2.5 BB might not, because it's the weight and mass and velocity and everything else.
Mate, let's think about it. Close range, if you're shooting a gun that's firing like 370, and that hits your eye,
your eye's fucked
through your eye, and it is hitting the back, like what I mean. Your eye is exploded. So actually, weapon safety is a huge thing, and it's something that you need to teach. And as a community, if you're new to it, it's like the only bad thing about airsoft guns, and this is where I think we were when I was talking to you about MP5s. Actually, having a higher quality make means that things are not going to break. So I've got the DMR that I'm bringing. I'll be honest, I don't know what the lower and upper is. It's some I don't know. It's some bloody Chinese crap metal. I mean, they're all crap metal, but you know what I mean. Yeah. But like the lower, and safety doesn't work. Luckily, I've got a Titan in it, so when it does move, it recognizes it's on lock, but itself, the safety's loose, it's shit, it's crap, and it won't go to automatic because I've switched all that off computerly and all that crap. When I first brought that safety would always break, and you'd literally put the gun down and it would catch a stick and it would go off. And you're like, this is like, and that's because I brought crap. And therefore, you could like do this and it would move the safety without you even knowing, because it was like paper, like a hair trigger, so to speak. So it's knowing stuff like that and knowing and understand, like, with gas blowback, a lot of them act like real ones. So you can't pull it in safe until you've cocked it.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, for instance, like this, I got this today, which is an Airsoft Artisan quick release silencer for the MP7. And I popped it on first time, and it actually goes on and locks two different ways. But one of the ways will actually cause the BB to hit the inside and shatter.
No. How does that make sense?
It's just because of the way it's built. It actually will fit in if you don't turn it and it locks in.
So I got rid of my VFC MP7, but I want to get a TM one.
But I mean, basically, once you've got it in place, it works. And I'm like playing with it today. I was test shooting it. I'm like, you just know that basically I've got BBs in the mag, and I'm trying to figure out if the actual thing's straight. So it's just you got to be smart. Decock it, clear the barrel, and then obviously pull the mag and
never let down the barrel unless the DMX is off.
Unless it's cleared.
And it
and it's like trying to figure out how the fuck that basically what was happening is this was just sitting slightly off on the inside here, and it's just basically it looked eyeballed like it was on. It was locked. I couldn't pull it off, but it was just like a slight angle, and it's just kind of figuring those things out. And
I'll tell you what, though, that suppressor looks so much brighter.
Oh man, compared to the long one, this just looks fucking epic.
Right, see, now I need a TM MP7.
I've got one, Jonesy.
I know you have.
Yeah.
But you don't have one of these.
I will when I see you next. I'll take it.
You won't, because I won't have this with me.
Fair enough.
That's all right. I'll get it for you, Smalls.
One thing I like about gas blowbacks, Jonesy, I was on the battle bus once at AP. I had a stoppage. And the only way I could clear it was literally take all the internals out, and under fire, clear it, put it back in, did the old testing, cock it a few times, got slapped a new mag in it, straight back in again.
And that's great. I mean, I know Alex has a massive hard on for TM. And TM's a TM. We always touch about this, and I think that's something that's going to be general and about. We're talking about airsoft, so you're always going to kind of cross over and cover everything you talk about all the time. I got the GHK. Okay, but the thing is GHK and TMs are the top whack when it comes to gas blowback. Or saying that, Inikatsus are meant to be quite good, but they're mega expensive, aren't they? But I don't know if they're still around. But that's what I love. It's the function. I can. The reason I said this last time, the reason I've got that is I get to shoot live weapons still, so I can dry fire in my garage or fire because I put targets up and I screw around and and like you're saying, if you get a stoppage, it's okay. Check, mag out. And so there are hundreds. It's quite funny actually, and I'll say this: there's hundreds of when you get a weapon system, you've got like 4 or 5 different IAs, immediate action drills to do on a rifle. Let's be honest, there should only ever be one, and it should be like everything. It should be mag out, cock it. Okay, if it ain't cocking, if there's something stuck, that means you've got a jam. You've got to take the mag out anyway. So you've already got the mag out, but everything you do should be in cover anyway, no matter what it is. It's like I taught Owen with a 2.2. Take the mag out, just cop it a couple of times, because if it hasn't ejected properly, it may pick it up. If it's jammed, it should pick it up. If it hasn't, it should come down out the mag hole. We get taught all these IAs and training and stuff, and actually there's just too many. It is so much simpler just to go, okay, cock, finesse 80, hold to the rear, look, mag out, shake it all out. If you have, and it's very, I think, how many of you ever had to actually be stuck in the chamber?
Never.
Never.
Like.
So actually, all you're doing is probably you're dislodging it around, and then you can put your mag.
I've only ever had one jam on my M4, and basically, again, it was just like, clear it.
But that's it. It's actually very simple. Because once you get, once you efficient in it, a bit like I keep saying about having the gas blowback, it's like that Japanese guy that went to T-Rex Arms. Once he had got recoil management underneath, everything he was doing was gas blowback. So his drills, his mechanisms, the way he was working was perfect. He was on point, drawing, bang, bang, bang. Okay, so therefore, anyone that says, I know I follow a guy, and I think you guys, I don't know if you follow him now, but Warthog Tactical on Instagram, I always tag. Okay, dude is a proper badass when it comes to American. He has worked in some, special units, and the dude knows what he's talking about. He sits in his garage with an airsoft pistol if he couldn't get out. One of those target things I showed you, the gunpowder ones.
Oh yeah.
And what he'll do like 20 seconds of intense fizz, and then bring up and tap 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 tap, and then back down and 20 seconds. So he's getting his heart pumping. He understands what at a certain level that he knows he's going to have to, he knows what he can work at, and it's all those little things that in dry testing, the same with this, you will be proficient in anything you do. It's like it's like being a free kick master, like David Beckham, practice. That's him dry firing, and then when he's in the game, he can hit it every time. It's the same principle for anything you do. So if you're into getting to shooting, you using a gas blowback pistol or rifle will be no different for you when you go live, because your mechanisms are right. It's just your recoil management is something you have to learn, and understanding. Obviously, that's when we talk about principles of shooting. Understanding, at certain ranges how things are going to, where they're going to hit, where you're going to aim at 100 meters compared to 300 meters. Well, 300 meters, we all zero to point of aim, point of impact. Where 100 meters, the little targets, we all aim at the baseline of the target, and then it hits. It's understanding. Yeah, it's understand at 400 meters, you don't go for the middle, you go for the neck, because it will then hit. You're aiming there, but it's going to hit there, and then it's pushing it out. It's knowing, understanding if the wind's that bad. I mean, I don't know if Smallsy done it. I've known that on a range, but I've aimed half a target's width to the right and still hit the target.
When I did the sniper selection, that's the only time I ever got marksman, and that was on the Dartmoor ranges, and I was aiming well off to the right. Windy.
Oh yeah, I mean, when I've shot my long gun, it's like at range, you've got to count for so much shit. You may have zeroed your gun for 100 or whatever, but you've got your scope, you've got your dope, and all the other kind of stuff, and you just kind of work it out.
I mean, this is it. I've the furthest I've ever fired any rifle, as in a rifle base, not a HMG, not a 50 cal, is that I've shot to 1,000. So I've shot up to 1,000 meters, and that was with a 417. And that's good fun. I mean, not a lot of people get to shoot that far with any sort of normal rifle anyway. And then obviously with HMG, you can fire up to 2K and, you do all that sort of shit. But that's part of it. But HMG is like, I always tease snipers. Well, yeah, you're behind a sniper rifle, but I'm behind an automatic sniper rifle, because a 50 cal will just hit the same spot over and over and over again, And so you screw around. But like, I've done my sniper acquaint, Smallsy.
Yeah.
And again, like I remember doing mine, and I failed one of the stalks.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I failed the stalk is I was 150. I managed to get 150 meters on Woodbury within the guys.
Yeah.
They couldn't see my 2 shots. Do you know why I failed?
What was that?
Because I couldn't see what he was doing down by his ankle.
Yeah, right.
Even though I had pretty much from the thigh upwards, I could see him.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't see what he was doing down at the ankle, they failed me. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, let's be honest. Because he's in front of a bush, but let's be honest, he'd be dead. So he wouldn't have seen me anyway. But the fact that I got 150 meters in front of a trained sniper, because that's all the guys that take it are all snipers.
Yeah.
And they didn't even see me. I managed to, and when and Smallsy would attest, when you're crawling, you're starting out from like 800 to a K away from them, and you're trying to get close to them to get a shot off, to crawl.
And with the start of it, you have to work out actually where they are.
Yeah.
Well, you can't see them initially.
No. So you, like most lads, are crawling for like 600 meters on their belly button.
One, because we had a riverbed off to our right-hand side, and you can pretty much walk that and get quite close.
I mean, I passed. I passed the whole course. I never got to do my snipers, which is unfortunate, because I went to do my tanks instead.
It's the same with me. We did. There's only 5 of us. I said it before, shoot to people. There's only 5 out of 25 of us that passed. 2 spots available in the next course, and they went to the 2 senior lads, which fair enough.
So for me, I was one of the senior lads when it happened. The glad that was about. So what happened? We had I don't know if you know Jimmy Clutton.
No.
He's done the Marines Scouts. Anyway, the dude took it, but he wasn't even recce. He was Charlie Company. But he was well respected within the Royal Marine Sniper community as well as further up. And he thought, actually, what we need is, I want 4 guys from each companies to go and do it, and then 2 from each. And then actually, the whole point then was to try and have more people trained.
Yeah.
So everyone was theoretically going to get a course if they passed, but it would be in stages. So the guy that passed me went off and did some special stuff. He passed, and then a very good mate of mine, because I went to do my tanks, he took my spot. Because at the time, they wouldn't let me do it, even though I had about a 4-week gap from if I passed sniper selection and then gone on the course and passed the course, I could still do my tanks.
Okay.
So theoretically, because it was not an SQ, it was an ADCOL, wasn't it? So theoretically, you could have had a tanky, heavy weapons as a sniper, but they wouldn't let it because it wasn't fair on 40 Commando, because I wasn't going back to the unit. But it's not. It shouldn't be about. It should be about the capabilities of a soldier. Like, okay, I'm a rifleman, sniper, and then I'm a heavy weapons operator.
You might be the entire corps rather than
exactly. And I was gutted, but it is what it is. I got to play with javelins and GMGs and GPMG, HMG. But
for Heritage 14, a lot of the Lima Company lads were trained up on the 338.
Yeah, because
I think it's because they're going to be fob based. It's better to have everyone knowing how to use everything.
Yeah, and it should be that way, mate. You should have you should have like a massive handful of snipers in a company.
Yeah.
Or the thing is so when I joined, it was the L96 was the sniper rifle, and then if not failed, but you passed, you failed the whole course but passed the long range shooting, you went on the 338.
Yeah.
Which made no sense because the 338 is now the sniper rifle anyway. But everyone, you should have like at least 8 people in a troop that should be able to fire that 338.
I mean, in my troop, we had my corporal, Chris Archer. He was a sniper. Chris Waite, he was a sniper. Corporal as well. I'm not sure who else was, but
then I did, like Steve was saying, I did a lot. I went to America and did a lot of long range shooting myself on 338s, on AR-10s. So someone went to me, do you know how to use this? I'm like, so like an Afghan on Herrick 7, I was behind the 338 when my corporal, who was the sniper PW, wasn't on it. I was like, I know how to shoot this. Are you sure? Yes, don't worry. I know how to shoot the weapon. I'm safe with it. I know how to do it. And I've shot it before in the Corps. So I'm safe.
I just feel, I know we're getting probably a bit off topic again, but I think for the Marines, being what we are, if you trained on literally every weapon system in the Corps, just in case, it's just much easier and better. Yeah, you have your specialists, that is their job.
But then snipers was never a qualified role anyway. It was always an AdQual. Anyway, we digress again. That's, but the point is that it's the same. Potentially, that's the same within how we do the airsoft. Everyone should be able to use any weapon system we've got.
Well, speaking of airsoft for shooting as well, I mean, we're shooting plastic BBs, but I still like to get the correct fire positions. If I'm laying down, I'll have legs spread, heels down, which is what I do. And then one of my favourite positions is the supported one. So put my left hand out, thumb out, rest my weapon on that.
Yeah, and again, there's nothing wrong with that. And again, these all, I think this all brings an experience to what, the whole point of Milsim is having an experience, correct?
Yeah.
Right. But also, I mean, if you think about it, these positions for shooting are designed to build a stable shooting position. And it's just as important for airsoft as it is for real steel.
Of course it is. Because we all know if you turn the rifle that way, the hop's only designed for one way. It's going to go.
Yeah, it's going to go in a weird. I mean, the one thing that you can do, you don't necessarily need to do so much with a real gun, but like wind is a big part of a problem with airsoft. So one of the things with sniping, because you've got a much longer range to do with a BB, is yes, you use the hop. So sometimes you'll see snipers twist the rifle a little bit so they can use the hop to go against the wind.
But that's like aiming a little bit higher because you've got a bit of a drop, and it's going to go a little bit further out to drop down and hit.
Yeah. And again, so you're lobbing with with BB, you're lobbing it sometimes. So, I've done it with my AEGs where you kind of lob the BB a little bit.
Does that mean we can get Alex to just go like at an angle and hold it like this and go, and it'll hopefully
and it'll just rain down on them. It's raining BBs at range.
100%.
But yeah, I mean, everything we talk about crosses over. And do you know what it does? It, again, as a team, it allows us to be comfortable with each other, going, okay, we're happy how things move. It's not. So Alex, when before the bullshit fucking kicked off the other week, Claire, Alex was like, Ryan, do you want to go 2IC? Do you want to do this? I'm like, mate, nah, I'm all right. I'll help out though. If you want advice, I'll give advice. Yeah. But I'm not there to tell people what to do. I'm there to play a game with friends. That's all I'm there to do. Now, I'll be brutally honest. I have done it. I've played Milsims and white discipline, like light discipline, has been shit. And I don't care who's it. I've turned out and gone, oi, fucking hell.
Like I've said to you, basically, when we do the night stuff, I want you and Nick at SEO to kind of take the lead because you guys have done, I've done it with Nick in the past when basically we've done, I can't remember where it was when we did it on the NOS, but he led everyone out. He made sure that, we kept quiet, we moved quietly, and everything else. It's just, if we've got a group of people, what we were going to have before the shit kicked off, where there was essentially just, one or two people that actually knew how to do things properly, essentially, in that situation, to kind of act as the steering hand, essentially, around people who may not necessarily have that knowledge. And it will benefit us as a group in the game because we'll be able to move quietly. We, in theory, shouldn't be detected as easily, and so on.
It's not even that, actually. It's like teaching how to walk in woods. There is a specific way how to roll your foot. And
yeah, I'll do that.
But it's the same thing. I watched the thing the other day. I've seen it on Instagram. Airsofters, I can't remember. They were on a lane and they went into a contact, but it was like they had crossed each other to go down on, like when we go stagger file, small Z.
Yeah.
Right. So like so it's something to teach for us as a unit and to get to know. If we're going up a track, we're spaced out specifically. We're staggered filed. Okay. Yeah. Obviously, in airsoft, we want to be a little bit closer than we would be if we're real life because just get range. But the first two people will always go down. Okay. And stay exactly where they are, and everyone else fans out and puts fucking rounds down. Yeah. That's what you do. That's a baseline. That's how we create a baseline.
Yeah, and Nick was. I mean, when we did Carewent, that's how Nick had us run. Do what we'll call the roads. We were staggered. either side of the road, and basically,
But
if we
also,
stopped,
if you're in a built-up area, you're staggered because you're cross. At that point, when you're looking high, your arcs are crossing because obviously, like he was saying, that he knew Swin had his left. As Small was saying earlier on about when he went into the room, he knew he had the left, and I knew I had the right. It's the same. Like when you're going down an alleyway at, say, Stanton, where there's quite a few of them, if I'm on the right hand side, I'm looking left and forward. Okay, same with the first man's looking right and forward. It's understanding where you will have a crossfire, but that isn't an issue. It's understanding how that works and allowing that to work properly. In those kind of environments, you wouldn't even spread out because you couldn't spread out. What you may do is 1, 2, and then 3 would jump into the middle, and then you'd have a 3-man baseline, and then you just peel back. And anyway, but again, you have to make. You can't use so it's really weird, but anything you learn in the core, you don't make it work. You have to work around what's available, if that makes sense. So if you can only make a 2-man baseline, that's all you make, and you peel out and you crack on. You don't then try and get everybody stood next to each other going like that. It won't work. You just be like an absolute idiot. Let me see, what's this? Oh, here we go. What's this? Call signs. But yeah, so Ricky's talking about safety there. But again, that becomes safety. Are you going to shoot your own guy?
Yeah.
One thing I do, Jonesy, if I've got people in front of me, so say I'm with somebody, I'll be communicating to him saying, "I'm on your right, I'm on your top right, top left, I'm going above you."
We don't do this in training, which I think is really shit. But SF do is we're not allowed to shoot mega close to each other on any live firing ranges. So if Smallsy was kneeling down next to me, theoretically, even if my muzzle was near his head, but about that far, I wouldn't be able to shoot in training. Now, in real life, it wouldn't fucking matter because we're there to look after each other. But it's I remember I played a game once, and there was a few guys turned up. Part of Sterling, we know Sterling gets some cool guys turn up sometimes, and he had a grenade launcher, and he literally just put it on my shoulder. But he knew I was ex-Marine, and he's come in. And he's like that, and everyone's like that. But what? And it's like, yeah, but if that's the only stable position, that's all I could do in real life. I'll do that. But don't forget, a 40mm grenade launcher doesn't actually activate until so many twists. It comes out the barrel in real life, so it can come off, hit a wall 10 meters in front of you, and not go off, not be active because it has to turn so many times before it becomes an active grenade. So
the javelin, isn't it? It's only got
no. The javelin has a pre-propulsion, so therefore it has something that fires it out the tube.
Yeah. And
then as soon as that, it looks like it drops, and then it has its second propulsion, and it goes. But with a javelin, you have a thing called a BCU. Now the BCU is called a battery calling unit. Now once I make it live on the clue. The clue is the command launch unit. Once I make it live on there, and I set the BCU going, I have 3 minutes to fire that. If I don't fire in 3 minutes, basically that's 65 grand gone, wasted.
It also doesn't the javelin only arm after a certain distance as well?
No, that's so when you watch it, it goes doof, drops out, and then goes. What that's doing
direct or up?
Yeah, that's just letting it get out the tube. Basically, that's just getting it out the tube. I can't, to be honest though.
Because there's a video in there of a javelin literally just falling out the end of the fucking launch.
It might be, mate. It's been 8 years. I can't remember, but
they'll have most missiles will have an arming phase, which they'll kick in at a certain range.
Yeah,
but a javelin's a fire and forget, which is great.
But yeah, I mean,
go to it.
Like when I was at AP the other day. It's like I had people, standing in front of me whilst I was sniping, just popping their heads in, and awareness of some people around. Basically, when you're shooting, is just completely oblivious to a lot of people.
Well, that vehicle game near the end, like there was that bit where the three, I think Nick, Cassie, and someone else they were laying there, weren't they? And I was like, I needed to get from one end of that clear into the other. I didn't walk in front of them. I was just stepping over each one.
I did. I stepped over them as well. But like I had people like on the first, not the first game, the reversal of the first game. So I'm at the bus and I'm shooting from the bus, and there's like I'm kind of on the back corner of the bus, and I've got my hand against the bus to act as a holding point. Got the barrel on there, and there's some guy that just sort of comes to the side of me, and then in front of me, and then pops his head up right in front of my barrel. I'm like, dude,
it's just there's no awareness. If people's looking down the scope, they're tunneled in. They're not going to see you until you're in front of the scope, and at that point, you're in front of the barrel.
Yeah.
So if I'm going in front of someone, I like to say cutting in front or coming through, anything like that, just so they're aware.
Yeah, communication. It's all about communication.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've done it before now, where I've basically, shot off people's shoulders, and I always say, like, I'm shooting off the shoulder.
How did that look?
Pardon?
Pretty cool.
I'm saying you shot off someone's shoulder with a BB. I'm joking.
No.
It's like a 50 cal.
The reason why, if I'm behind someone, I'll always say, my muzzle is to your right, so they're not gonna. If we get shot, they're not gonna step to the right in front of me.
Yeah.
So they're aware of where my muzzle is. So
it's all about communication and again as a team. So, I mean, have we even said that yet? I know we showed the patch, but you might as well say it for the airsofters. Obviously, there's a bit of a team now, but like having training days are good in the sense of not saying look at me, but what it does is allows that exactly what you're saying there. Smalls.
Building up some trust basically in the people you're essentially working with.
But then the SOPs even in wording. Like how you say something, how you talk. It doesn't have to be military in the sense of this sort of side, but it could be like, hey, I'm right, or like, if this happens, this is what we should do as a team. It's like, Alex, okay, because you're going to be carrying the GPMG, if this shit happens, what we need is just a barrage of rounds to get us out of the way, and then we'll draw you back in and cover you. Like, it's all that sort of
Don't worry, mate. If there's a fight kicking off, I guarantee you, my trigger on my finger will be
firm. But it's the same time, we got to tell Alex to kneel because he's 6'8". So we got to say, get down. Isn't
that get on his belly? So he's just at knee level.
If there's a second for me to get on a knee or get a belly button, then I'm on my belt buckle. Don't you worry about that.
That's the point. It's like, the whole point of this as a team game, and I'm going to this in the sense of military, is you've got to trust each other in a game sense. You've got to go, hey, it sounds stupid. I'm not saying it's real, but like, all right, I know if I'm going into that room, like Small said earlier on, I felt the squeeze. I know that he is following me, and I'm not going in on my own. And because that pisses lads off. Like if he had done that and Smallsy gone in and turned around and he's not there, he'd be like, fucking prick.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I was saying before, it's like I've done it in I played the bunker in London, and a number of times I've gone through a doorway and someone supposedly following me who hasn't followed me. I've got lit up, and it's like, really? It's a pain in the ass. But there's just little things like communication and just knowing that if you've got a particular role. When I'm doing the sniper role, I will look for targets, and if you've got a target that's particularly troublesome for you, you want me to reach it to it, you've got to tell me, because I might not have spotted that target. I've had this, but we had this. I can't remember. It was fucking. What was it called? The place in Crawley, where somebody basically just had he kind of shouted a little bit at me because I wasn't shooting at somebody that was shooting at him, but I was busily engaging someone else that I'd spotted, and I hadn't spotted the other person. Yeah. You've got to communicate where that person is you want me to hit. I was doing it on the weekend basically, and actually it was quite good because there's a couple of people that were basically like they were saying, "Oh, there's a sniper that's pinning those guys down at 1 o'clock, whatever," and I may have not. I may have not seen them, or I might not have been engaging them.
Also, you've got to remember whose 1 o'clock that is.
Yeah.
So if you're off to the left, that's actually like maybe potentially 2 o'clock for that guy, and it's only 1 o'clock. You know what I mean? That's how you. Obviously, it wouldn't be that way, but my point is that if you went 12 o'clock, but that's 11 o'clock for someone else, you've got to work that out and tell them that.
This is the thing. It's like basically, luckily with the people at the weekend, for instance, they I think they were working on the principle of my 1 o'clock, because basically I looked at my 1 o'clock and the guy is, So, it's just basically knowing that, right, if you're saying to a guy, the person that's, the sniper or the LMG gunner, it's at the 1 o'clock, making just sure that you're using his 1 o'clock, because that way it makes it just easier for him to go, and we're having to work it out.
If you do it, like I'm saying, if as a team you take a training day out, no matter what environment that's in, and you go and use that environment, it's learning those little SOPs and going, look, this is how we should do things and how we should move. And actually, like I think I might have said this, I can't remember, but in the training stuff I taught you, is take on what other people have done. Like if you go around and go, well, Ryan, in the airsoft we'd do it this way, and like actually that makes complete sense, because in real life I wouldn't. I think I said about the doors. Like in real life, you'd be checking the doors for, again, and part of airsoft, you're checking where the hinges are. How's that door going to open? Is it going to be an inward, outward? Is it going to be a slidey? Is this going to be there? These are the sort of things.
Other trips and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, but this is stuff you train for, because I know a lot of airsoft sites, even Milsims, don't do enough of it. I truly believe.
I mean, to be fair, when we did the training with you, like, this is the first time any kind of airsoft thing that done where we've been able to do an actual proper door breach.
Yeah.
And that's to Alex with his little kill house he's going to do. Like we were talking last night, he's like, can we blow the fucking doors off?
But as long as you reinforce the hinge, the door frame, Alex, you'll be able to do all of that.
Yeah,
that's what. And the reason is, if you make it big enough, we can do training there and we can bring it down.
We had a conversation about the christening of the place. We'll be doing the christening.
As small as you know, Alex, mate, if we do it right, we may be able to proper breach the door, and I mean like back rounds for it if we have to. Like we have. Reinforce doors, and what you do is you reinforce all the doors, and therefore you can blow it. But then what you do is potentially what you do for the games is you don't use real doors, you use plasterboard, and then you can put it straight down. You can put a bit of a fuse deck cord or whatever, a couple of bangs. But then what you do is you set it up so people can come in, clip an electric deck, go around the corner, go clack, and then the rest of the team goes. Like we did with you guys, where we did was, and it's like you do in training, like sometimes. All you do is you put it on a little bit of a plastic cuff, and once it goes bang, it blows the plastic cuff. I mean, plastic cuffs are not that strong. I'm actually saying that the ones I've got for tying people's hands up, that you can't do that trick and get out of it. They're too thick. Mm-hmm. But
I don't know. That second run we done with the hooligan bar, mate. Oh my god, I was having a time of my life destroying the fuck out of that door. That door was not gonna go out.
But it's like when I did the tester, I just took the plasterboard out. It was just an
you basically karate kicked the fucker into the.
But mate, I did that. I went to UCAT Virus, and I was good at the time, good friends with the owner, but no longer, and that's just another story. But they were trying to get through the store, and they were kicking it really hard, and because this door had always been locked, but that was the last game there, so I told them to all move out the way, and I just literally went in, and as I dropped my shoulder, I made sure I made contact with shoulder and knee at the same time, so therefore you get a full whack of force, and I hit it so hard that I actually broke off the frame on the inside, and it broke open, and everyone just looks like, what? Like, yeah, but that's it. It's knowing how to use force and use it properly. There's no point in coming in and swinging all your might, but if you're not doing it, it's the same with an enforcer. There's a certain way to do it. If you do it wrongly, you'll break your hands.
Yeah. I did this, Jonesy, when I was I used to be a special in Suffolk, and we used to do warrants every week because I was part of the warrants team, and it's the same thing. We were using the whacker, and you just have to know the areas you hit the door and what angles. Otherwise, if it goes through, you're breaking your wrist.
Yeah, and that's it. It's the same with anything, and that's where I think some of the Milsim games and events are lacking that. They're lacking that actual immersion and real, actually what, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to go up, stick in 2 electric decks, and then have a clacker and go bang. But what you do is, if you're going to do that with people, you have a safety brief of the evening before and go, who's going to be your EME expert? And whoever that expert is, that's the guy that can only do it. We're going to have an hour with him now. We're going to talk over the do's and don'ts, and that's it. Great. So then as a team, you turn around and go, okay, as we spoke about before, and I think about this game, what do you want me to do? Believe me, I'm not going to tell Tricky he can't be the DEMS expert, because Tricky, that's what he did for a living, and that's what he did after he did it for a living in other countries. So to me, it'd be like, hey, Tricky, you happy doing that, mate? Can you run with that? Because I ain't got to worry about it. You know, I don't use the gun enough in the sense anymore, like on GPMG. Theoretically, I could do because I was, but no, Alex, you're the gun man. Okay, and I went to Steve. I was like, what do you want me to do? Oh, I'll be an assaulter, mate. I'm happy just to go through the door, stop people. Yeah, I'll do that. Yes. You know, I'm not there to try and big it up, and then that's how the team should work as a unit. It's go, okay, well, who do we want going through the door? Okay, let's have the 3 bootnecks go through the door because they're angry little fuckers, and they're the ones who want to get in there, and we'll just go in behind them. You know what I mean? Yeah, so it's great having the GPMG, mate. Alex,
when
I remember
when we first got it, I said that I'll happily go and sit on top of a higher position all day.
Mate, I remember in 7, I had to clear a building with the 9mm Browning because I couldn't use the GPMG inside. It was just swung down the front of me, and I was clearing rooms with a pistol, and I only had 2 mags.
Oh, don't worry.
I mean, it's why
GPMG at Longmore. I don't give a fuck.
You know the feeling, Smalls.
I mean, I've done like when I'm with the sniper rifle, like, you know, obviously with the minimum engagement distance of airsoft, I've got to switch to a pistol, and I spend a good bit of time just like the close in stuff. I think what is it, the June SEO game we did last year? Like we hit their little settlement place they had, and basically I just dropped my rifle and basically just went in with the pistol. And mopped up the people in the buildings because that's all you can do. You know, just clearing with a pistol, just knowing how to do that is useful.
So so let's start wrapping up. We've done our what we reckon our time is. So in general, military. What's he done?
Hey.
Yeah. No. We military tactics / experience in airsoft. Does it work? Bottom line, yes, it does. It has its mega advantages.
Yeah,
I'd say it does, especially if you also adapt it to airsoft.
Yeah. Don't take it as like military's the gospel. You have to make it work in the environment it's in.
Yeah, it's not going to work in every situation.
No.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain things that are just not going to work. Certain things that will need tweaking. You know, but in general, there's a lot of useful things to take away.
Oh, massively, always. And again, it's just learning. It's a learning tool more than anything.
Yeah. So obviously, we're all away next weekend, apart from old Smallsy, because you know he's not coming with us.
I don't know what his excuse is, to be honest.
No, not right.
I don't know. You'd hate me.
But we will be still live streaming. We'll be just pushing it to Friday night, won't we now?
Yeah,
we're going to try and do it Friday night from the hotel.
Still trying to work it out, aren't
you? Well, I think I've got it pretty much sorted. Laptop, camera, mic, and we just need to figure out where we do it. And
Yeah. Hey, boys, before we all leave, everyone stay online once we don't go live so we can have a debrief.
Yeah.
The other thing we'll do as well after next week's event is we'll probably do another live stream. We'll probably might do it midweek, or essentially the following Saturday will be the debrief of the game that we'll do as well.
Okay, cool. I'm happy with that.
So thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you all next Friday.
Thank you. We'll wait for Steve.
Thank you.
Take it live.
Yeah, boy.